IndiGlobal Media Network.
Once again, a very good morning to everyone present here. I am Prerna, your host for the day. I would like to welcome all of you to the IndiGlobal School Leadership Summit. Today would be a day-long knowledge sharing and an innovative session. The conference is poised to be attended by over 100 senior school education industry experts, visionaries from across the education spectrum to explore and address the evolving changes and opportunities in the education industry. The key theme of the summit would include transforming school education, new age innovation, and fostering student leadership. The sponsors for this summit are our associate partner being Vignana Jyothi Junior College, our health partner Apollo Shine Foundation, our university partner Mahindra University, our supporting partners Indian Oil, Ramki, INDIC International School, and our exhibitor partner MCB My Class Board. So with this, I would like Mr. Sudheer Goutham, founder, CEO, and editor-in-chief, IndiGlobal Media Network, to be introduced, please.
Indelible mark on the industry. Notable roles at Network 18, CNN-IBN, CNBC 18. The Indian Express and Deccan Chronicle showcases his diverse expertise. Renowned for editorial prowess, he's covered technology, governance, education, healthcare, and sustainable urban development. His influence extends to collaboration, investments, and startups. Beyond editorial success, Mr. Goutham advises state governments, industry bodies, and academic institutions. As a forward-thinking entrepreneur, he founded IndiGlobal Media Network, dedicated to fostering innovation and collaboration, solidifying his commitment to growth within the global ecosystem. The program director of this important summit, IndiGlobal School Leadership Summit, let us welcome Mr. Sudheer Goutham, founder, CEO, and editor-in-chief. With over 17 years,
I would like to call upon our guest and our speakers for this inaugural session. I would like to start by calling upon Dr. K. Hari Prasad, author and healthcare leader, Group Chairman and Director, Quality Care India Limited.
Group Chairman and Non-Executive Director of Quality Care India Limited is the pioneer of India's emergency healthcare specialty. A multifaceted personality and a cancer conqueror, Dr. Hari stands as an inspiration for many. The way he won over the battle of cancer and his physical transformation after being diagnosed with leukemia, a type of blood cancer. He also authored a book, I Am Possible, documenting his life journey, which also includes his phase of life rising as a cricketing star. We are super excited to listen to the inaugural talk of Dr. K. Hari Prasad. Please welcome him with a huge round of applause.
Now, I would like to call upon Dr. Sujiv Nair, Global Chief Human Resource Officer, RE Sustainability.
Resource Officer, RE Sustainability is an industry veteran with 29 years of experience in change and transformation at the national and global level. Dr. Nair's journey spans across leadership roles in prominent organizations like Tech Mahindra, DuPont, and Dr. Reddy's, and his significant contribution.
And now, I would like to call upon Shri Jasti Sheshagiri Rao, Secretary, VNR Vignana Jyothi Educational Society.
Sheshagiri Rao, fondly known as JS Rao, is a postgraduate in engineering and a well-known name in the corporate and the industry circle. He is currently the Managing Director of Kirti Industries Limited and Hyderabad Flex Tech Limited. Earlier, he was the Managing Director of Hyderabad Bottling Company Limited, HBCL, the franchise in the Telugu-speaking states for bottling and marketing of Parle soft drinks, which introduced and popularized soft drinks like Gold Spot, Limca, Thumbs Up, Maaza in the erstwhile United Andhra Pradesh. His able leadership and supervision took the company to many expansions.
A very warm welcome to all our esteemed speakers. I would now request the speakers on the stage to please come forward for lighting of the lamp.
नमन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तब जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे।
I would now like to call upon Shri Sudheer Goutham, founder, CEO and editor-in-chief, IndiGlobal Media Network, for a welcome address.
Thank you very much, Prerna. Very warm welcome to all our esteemed guests who are basically the educators who are shaping the future of school education in their own right and capacity. So the first question that comes is why this School Education Leadership Summit? IndiGlobal Media Network, many of you might knowing that we host conferences on information technology, governance, healthcare, and also education that includes skill, higher education and school. But why this particular summit focused on school education? I regularly interact with many of the leaders in higher education and government. One thing I came across is they find primary education is the foundation. Our leaders, Prime Minister and the entire government has set a roadmap that India, Bharat will become a Vishwaguru, and for that we need sharp and skilled mind and youth. And when I interacted with this higher education leaders, they say it is the primary education, that is the school education, that needs to be strong. The foundation needs to be strong. And now, ultimately, that comes with the limited resource, the GDP which is there in India for education, which is limited compared to other countries. With the limited resources, it is up to the educators like you all in the school education how to make the best with the limited resources and ensure that we move towards that stature of Vishwaguru. So it is on your shoulders. The educators are like the gold miners in a modern day gold miners, helping the young child and children resources to shine in their respective lives. So I would call upon all for this wonderful session that is going on throughout the day. And in the inaugural session, we have some industry leaders, innovators who have set a benchmark, who are the flag bearers, made a difference. So we'll get to listen to them. And through the day, we have panel discussion with speakers, each of them holding close to 20 to 30 years of experience. So each panel with a panel speakers of like close to 5 to 6 speakers on the dais will be holding close to 150 years of experience, imparting their experience. So I am looking forward to this wonderful inaugural session. We'll be having wonderful talks from our special guests. So a very warm welcome, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sudheer. And now let's move on with our inaugural session, the theme being the transforming landscape of school education in Bharat. Factors shaping the future of school education, adaptability and response of educators to the changing dynamics of global education standards, the hidden gaps in the school education, emotional intelligence, outcomes from the implementation of NEP 2020 in school education, foundation fostering student leadership in schools. I would like to call upon Dr. Sujiv Nair, Global Chief Human Resource Officer, RE Sustainability, for a special guest address, please.
Morning, everyone. Thank you, Sudheer ji and IndiGlobal for this invite. You know, as Sudheer mentioned, the formative years are very, very essential for children. And I learned that this is very important, though I didn't deal with a lot of schools and children, but I have enough experience working with college children. But I think the foundation that is set in schools are extremely important to create future leaders, as Sudheer mentioned. I have some thoughts to share, but before that, I want to ask you a few questions, okay? And you can answer. If you want to say yes, just raise your hands. No, don't raise your hands. How many of you believe that infrastructure in a country is the biggest asset for that country? When I say infrastructure, it is roads, buildings, infrastructure. How many of you believe? Next question. How many of you believe educated minds is the biggest asset for any country? So my job is easy. Majority of you tend to agree with me. Second question. How many of you today here believe that we have an education crisis in the world, or probably in India? Okay. How many of you believe that there is a learning crisis in the country? Almost same count for both the questions. What's the difference between an education crisis and a learning crisis? Year on year in India, we are seeing the dropout rate from schools improving over the last 3-4 years. So from 30% to 25% to 20% to 18%. So I don't see a big issue with education crisis because dropouts are becoming less and less and less. But even if you look at the 15% dropout rate, whether it is India or any other country, in the next 10 years, this will be 50%, which is very, very concerning. I believe we have a very strong learning crisis. And what I mean by a learning crisis is students are going to school, but are they really learning? Are we looking at the asset of the country as an educated mind or not? And I want to spend some time on how we can address this learning crisis, not only relevant for India, but the whole world. Let me first give you some examples. I meet teachers, I meet lecturers, and I like to have discussions with them. So I go and I met some teachers and I asked them, "How are you, ma'am? How are you, sir?" They said, "We are doing fine." "What are you doing? How are things going on at your place?" "Sir, I'm supervising the lab, the computer lab in our school." "Okay, very good." "Ma'am, what are you doing?" "I just went to the bank to do some bank work, ma'am." "Yes." The others, I'm just looking at the food of the children, what is being served. "Very nice." I met another person. "What are you doing, sir?" "I'm supervising the toilet constructions in the school. You go and ask a lot of teachers, they will mention this to you. I'm preparing lesson plans. Now, if teachers are doing most of this work, will students learn? In fact, there's nothing wrong in it. Schools are doing well, teachers are doing well. When the inspection comes, these are all the things that the inspectors check. They get good marks. Is that what really we are cut out for? How much time do teachers actually invest in enhancing the learning of students? This is one question I constantly ask and share with many teachers. How much time are you spending teaching the actual content to kids, testing their knowledge, versus the amount of efforts that you're putting to do all other work? I remember when I was studying in school, textbooks had the chapter and there used to be an experiment. I mean, if I just give you an example, an experiment in science, the way I studied reflection, take a torch, put a mirror, put a white paper, press the torch, the light will go and reflect, draw a line, and then they teach you the laws of reflection. Even today, I'm sure there are experiments like this that are there in textbooks. But how many teachers actually spend time in doing these experiments or keeping children excited? As a student in school, I used to love lab. I used to love to go to PT. You know what are the challenges today? Many times, the way teachers teach, I think that's one opportunity that we can really look about. What teaching aids do they use? Do they use conventional methods or they use some creative methods? I know of several teachers who use very innovative learning methods. Such teachers need to be identified and recognized. I think one of the challenges in enhancing the learning crisis is our ability to teach, practical teaching. In some schools, or when I talk to people, they ask, why we don't have infrastructure, sir? Okay, in lower education, right, in elementary, we need, what do you need? We need abacus. We need teaching aids. Trust me, I have traveled across districts, met teachers. There are teachers who just take a lot of things around them, sticks, stones, and use that as teaching aids. Such teachers need to be really identified and recognized. One set on teachers, okay? The point I'm trying to convey is the way we teach makes a big difference to make the learning stick and develop educated minds. Next, let me go to some administrators in school or HODs, whatever you call. When a year starts, many times a goal is set. This year I want to achieve 100% pass. I want 90% of the students to score more than 80% or whatever. I think as educators or HODs, it is very important for us to set goals for every year. Once the goals are set, it's important to analyze what are the challenges that are stopping us from achieving these goals. They could say teaching aids, infrastructure, list down the challenges. And the third and the most important thing, whether it is school, whether it is college, or whether it is a corporate or it is a government, the thing that really makes a difference is aggressive follow-up, review, which is missing big time in our country in most areas. Goals are set, we know what problems are there, finish. There is a minutes or something that is written and it's over. For those administrators or HODs, I think the most important thing is vigorous follow-up on the goal set, on solving the problems. If we look at these two things, the administrators and the teachers, if they come together, just see the amount of learning experience that they can create for the students. And last but not the least, Sudheer ji mentioned to me that I should also talk a little about emotional intelligence. I said that's a very big topic. Very big topic. But I can teach a very simple game, and we'll practice that game here. Okay? And you can take this game back to your schools. You can play it with teachers, with students, and then you see how the emotional intelligence improves, and which is very, very important. Emotional intelligence is all about understanding oneself, regulating oneself. How do I work in team? How do I see the emotions in others during my interactions? That's the crux of emotional intelligence. And the best way to do it is play a game, emotion alphabet game. Okay, we're going to play that game here, and I'm going to have some volunteers. Can anybody sitting here talk to me or share with me one emotion with alphabet S? Anybody? Surprise, okay? Scary? Sorrow? Let's pick one of these three. Okay, and the most often occurring one. But people don't express sorrow. Sorrow, okay? What do you think is the trigger or motivator for this emotion of sorrow? Anyone? Disappointment, yes. What else? What are the triggers for somebody to be sorrow? Expectations, neglected, failure, ignorance. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Now, how do you approach somebody who's in that state of sorrow? How do you approach them? For the reasons that you mentioned, how do you approach? So failure. Sir, you said failure. How do you approach anybody who comes to you with that emotion and failure? What do you do, sir? Excellent. I think please give a round for this gentleman. He said, just listen. Just listen. And what is listen? Just listen. Don't talk. Right? That is one way we deal with that emotion of sorrow. There could be multiple triggers. Okay, let's play one more round. Give me another emotion with the alphabet A. Anger. Appreciation. Anxiety. Anxiousness. Let's pick one, the most common, anger. How do you deal with somebody who's very angry? How do you deal with them? Yes, anyone? Lovely. Vamshi says count 5. Don't react. Because what happens when you react? It can become more. Maybe you will get damaged, the other person get damaged, relationships, all these things will happen. Play this game in school, at home, in office. Take alphabets, ask somebody to define an emotion, ask them what is the trigger and how they will. That's how you build emotional intelligence. We should allow our kids, our children to come and express. As teachers, listening is the most important skill. If we are able to do this, I mean, we can avert the learning crisis. So I just will summarize saying, teachers use learning aids. Don't go and say, I don't have that infrastructure, I don't have this. See what you have around you. There are so many things. Where there's a will, there's a way. Educators, managements, set goals, review them periodically, because what gets measured gets done. And third, all of us who are in this profession needs to build this emotional intelligence. And if we are able to build it in ourselves, our peers, our colleagues, our students, things will change. So I end with just one statement. All of us who are in this business should be able to give livers to our people. And if you give livers, teachers can shake mountains. Thank you and all the best.
Thank you for the very wonderful exercise, Dr. Sujiv Nair. Moving ahead for another address, I would like to call upon Shri Jasti Sheshagiri Rao, Secretary, VNR Vignana Jyothi Educational Society. A round of applause for our speaker, please.
Good morning, all of you. Can I hear? I think we are early in the morning. Let us be more energetic. I should hear this hall vibrating with your good morning, please, once more. Good morning. Good. Now, I don't know what I am doing. I think probably Sudheer has brought me here because I am part of the administration on education, if I am right. It's a very critical period actually for all of us. The global environment is changing very fast, and probably because of the pandemic, we had to accelerate the whole process of connecting with each other through the technology. And flip side of the pandemic, though it was a very bad situation for all of us, was that we were all had to learn the process of online learning, getting into the technology, all the educators, all the staff members, because I have seen how my institutions, I had to gear them up to this requirement. So there is and with this technology and all that, now we are almost like it is a global university sort of a thing, where you are having access to all the networks across the country, across the world, in all levels of education. And that's the best part of it. So we had all gone through that learning curve, and I'm sure most of the schools are now geared up with this kind of technology availability, and not just the infrastructure, but even the faculty getting into understand, because I know most of the generation of were not through had not gone through earlier, at least during their education period, had not gone through the technology phase or understanding this computers, learning process and all that. But I appreciate that all of us had to go through that process, and we all learnt it, and now we are able to teach the present generation through this media and network. That is one best part of it. As already mentioned, see in sports, there is a big slogan like catch them young. Now in education also, it is the best part of it, because school is the foundation, like already my earlier speaker has spoken. Basically I am a civil engineer, so I know what is the importance of foundation. If a building has to stand for a long, long time, the foundation has to be very strong. If that is not done, your building might collapse for whatever reasons. Even if it is a very big storm or a earthquake, it would collapse, but it has to be properly done. And similarly, for the future of the nation, the building, the foundation stage is the school. We have to build a very good foundation for all the children. And so here the process is the educators or the teachers or the faculty, they should also be going through that phase of learning the new things, understanding it, and then imparting that to the youngsters and giving them the proper education and proper awareness and foundation on that. So this is where this change this is one of the major factors, how all the faculty, all the teachers need to gear up. It's a learning. see, it's a continuous learning process. You cannot stop your learning either just because you are already finished your learning. No, no, it is going to be an online process continuously. So that's the most important part. Then there are a lot of gaps in between. I am sure this lot of you have understood that this national education policy is coming, and they have been working on how to bridge a lot of gaps in between and also create opportunities for people to study as per their convenience, as per their aspirations, and also change to whatever you like as you go forward, get yourself educated. So there a lot of flexibility is coming into the system, and it is in the process now, and I think this is going to give us a very good opportunity for all of us to really understand this new policies and try to change accordingly and be prepared to bring up the new generation to the required level of what we are looking at. The government says, make in India, Atmanirbhar, so many things, they want the whole world to focus now on to India. Come back to India. Some time back in my generation, there was a big drain of what you call the brain drain. That was the big buzzword in those days. People going out of the country, and even now some of them are there, but now the situation is reversing. So we'll have to be prepared for that. So I am sure this whole process of your discussion today would emphasize on all these two, three points, and I congratulate Sudheer for having taken up this topic of the appropriate topic for the current seasons, and I am happy that I am involved in here. I failed my duty as a General Secretary of Vignana Jyothi if I didn't say a few words about my own. So take it as a publicity or whatever it is, but I belong to the Vignana Jyothi Society. As a General Secretary, I was a founder member and all that, but now I am the General Secretary. We are a not-for-profit organization. Under these institutions, I have engineering, schools, agricultural institutions, arts and science college, management colleges. All of them are in one premises. Very recently, because I had a gap of 2 years, but from school to my engineering or other management, the +2 level was missing. So very recently, we have added that +2 level also, so that the old concept of KG to PG or PhD, we have PhD also, all this. So now we are in a continuous session. So that's a bit about Vignana Jyothi. I just wanted to mention it because as a part of Vignana Jyothi, I would like all of you to understand, which is one of the premium institutions, especially the engineering college has been continuously, last 3 sessions, 3 evaluations, it has been NAC ++. So, and NBA approved and all that. So, but we are more focused on our school part of it, because our school, Vignana Jyothi Public School, we give the CBSE education at a very low cost, 100% results of course. So with the demand of the parents, now I had to add the +2 also. So this is what Vignana Jyothi is for. And coming back to our subject, I am happy to be here. I am happy to exchange a few words. I belong to the industry also. So the market or the demand for the technologies, new type of capabilities in the job opportunity, because I see both sides of the coin there. Because as an industrialist, I know what I require, what is the kind of skill levels that are required for the future of industry and other manufacturing industries. But unfortunately, manufacturing industry is being neglected with the craze for the computer, and the core subjects are being neglected. Even in our engineering college, people don't ask for civil or mechanical or electrical. They all want computer science. But I would like to, because all of us are also parents, The requirement in the market is not just for computer science. As an industry, I can assure you that there is special skill levels that are required with a lot of modern applications. Without the core subjects, nothing can happen. So I strongly insist that core subjects be a main part of it, and your other skills can always be, because all of the institutions, all the universities are offering your specializations in other, what do you call the degrees, minor degrees, along with your core subjects. So I take this opportunity to advertise all that, because as an administrator and as an institution, what we face there, during the admission, especially these seasons, when it comes to admission, everybody wants to come and ask for only computer. So let us look at a change in that, and there is a lot of scope there also. So I wish you all the best. Thank you all for joining us here in the morning. Thank you, Sudheer. Thank you, all of you. Wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, sir. And now time for poster launch of 3rd IndiGlobal Education Festival. I would like to call upon Mr. Sudheer Goutham to give us a few exciting insights about it.
In regards to the 3rd IndiGlobal Education Festival, many of you might be knowing our flagship event, IndiGlobal Education Festival. It's basically not the technical sessions and lot of panel discussions and all. We celebrate the innovation and education in many, many ways. And in this regard, we would be soon launching a poster, and we will be hosting it in Hyderabad once again. This will be our 3rd edition. And it is something where school education, higher education, skill, corporate, HR, all these factors, and the leaders and delegates from all these sectors, and close to 1,000 delegates and speakers, somewhere together 150 plus leaders, vice chancellors, principals, CEOs, all of them would be joining us. And many of you in the audience have been part of this wonderful festival of education and innovation. So I would request all of you to block your dates. It would be hosted in the month of December in Hyderabad once again. And I would like to see you all to be part, and we can bring in a change, wonderful deliberations, and celebrate the innovations there. Thank you. Now I would request our guest on the dais to come forward for the poster launch. Celebrate the 3rd edition of the much awaited IndiGlobal Education Festival 2024 in Hyderabad this December. Highlights: 2 full days, 200 plus leaders in higher education, school, HR, skill, sports and technology, 1,000 plus delegates, 15 plus states, 6 plus embassies. Offerings: presentation slots, power pack panel discussions, fireside chats, awards and recognitions, workshops.
And now for the final special guest address, I would like to call upon Dr. K. Hari Prasad, author and healthcare leader, Group Chairman and Director, Quality Care India Limited.
Good morning. I guess we are running behind schedule, so I'll keep it very short. I don't know why I'm here. I am not a school teacher, not an educator, not a school administrator. But since Sudheer asked me, and IndiGlobal is doing some wonderful work on multiple fronts in multiple sectors, I thought I should be present here and share with you some of my thoughts about education. There's no doubt that the future of India, or for that matter for any country, is built in the schools. As was just said, the foundation for the country is laid in the schools. And we also hear that the only thing that is inevitable is change. But I wonder whether our education system has really changed over the decades. I'm not too sure. I was very fortunate, and I completely give credit to my school for what I am today, and I'll explain you why. One of the important things which parents and teachers are after is the marks, the exams, the ranks, and so on and so forth. But what is sadly missed is what is the aspiration of the child? What is the passion of the child? And every child has a different aspiration and a passion. And anybody who is allowed to pursue what they're passionate about will do extremely well in life. And I guess that's what is missing. But I was extremely fortunate, and I thought I should share a couple of examples. I studied at Hyderabad Public School, Begumpet, and I was playing cricket, and I played for the state when I was in the 10th standard, and it was the ICSE board examinations. And normally the ICSE board examinations are held in February, and then we had to play for the state in some tournament, so I didn't want to lose a year, so I said I will not play for in that tournament, and decided to give up that tournament. But the principal and the physical director of the school called me and said, you go ahead and play the tournament. But I said, sir, I'll miss the exams and I'll lose a year, which I don't want to. They said, don't worry, go ahead and play the tournament, we'll take care of you. So I went ahead and played and came back. And what they did was, the principal called me and issued a TC to me. And he said, you come back to school from the next day, and there'll be some teachers sitting with you because you are appearing for SSC examinations, which are in April, and we'll prepare you for that and make sure that you pass your SSC and you do not lose a year in the school. Now, that is where I think the school made a huge difference to me, because of allowing me to pursue the passion of cricket. And what happened later was, I got my medical seat in the sports quota because of cricket. So I think one of the essential things which at the foundational stage is critical is to identify the potential, identify the emotional connect of a student with what he loves the most, and facilitate and help him to grow and pursue that passion. That's something which I think is missing and which all of you could contribute to inculcate in the school curriculums. And today, I think human beings are becoming machines and machines are becoming human beings. I'll tell you why I said that. I have a grandson, my daughter lives in the US, so my grandson is here on a holiday. He's a class 7 student, and his father told us that he had some work to do for the school during the holidays. So one day I made him sit down and said, what's the work? And there were a few questions that had to be answered. So he sat down and he said he would do it only on the computer. I said, you can write down the answers to the questions. He said, no, I'm in US, I do it only on the computer, so give me the computer and I'll do it on the computer. And I gave him the computer, and within seconds he had completed his task of finishing 5 questions, which I thought will take about an hour and a half or 2. And I went back and I asked him, how did you do it? He actually showed each of the questions were answered beautifully, perfectly. And I said, how did you do this in a couple of minutes? You couldn't have typed all this down on your computer. He said, Tata, you don't know this? Then he promptly told me how he did it. He went and typed the question in ChatGPT. The answer came out. He copied it there and pasted it here, and his task was done. So that's the reason I said, with artificial intelligence and a lot of other things coming into the fold, men are becoming machines. We've stopped thinking. The machines have started thinking for us. And that's a very, very dangerous trend for the future. So one of the responsibilities and challenges that educators have from here on is to actually humanize education, keep it human, because that's going to be very, very critical for the future. And the last thing, I think a personality is built in the school. What one does when he or she grows up is based on the foundation that was laid for him or her in the school. I did my medicine, I did my post-graduation in anesthesiology, practiced for only a couple of years, but became what I am and did what I did for the last 30 years as an uneducated administrator. Neither my MBBS nor my MD was a qualification to become a healthcare administrator. It was, when I look back at it, it was the personality that was created in me at the school which helped me to go through the different stages in life, and not the MBBS or the degrees which I got after schooling. So truly I believe that you are responsible for creating the personalities of the future, and it is these personalities who make or break a country in the future. So please humanize education. Please make sure that the students are allowed to pursue their individualistic passion and become big in the society and help the country and help the world. Thank you very much for the kind attention.
Thank you, sir, for such wonderful live experience insights. Moving ahead, as a token of appreciation, we would like to give away mementos to our esteemed speakers. I would like Mr. Sudheer Goutham to please give it away. Can I call upon Dr. K. Hari Prasad, author and healthcare leader, Group Chairman and Director, Quality Care India, to please accept this humble token of appreciation. Can I further call upon Dr. Sujiv Nair, Global Chief Human Resource Officer, RE Sustainability. And lastly, I would like to call Shri Jasti Sheshagiri Rao, Secretary, Vignana, Jyothi, Educational Society.
IndiGlobal Media Network, taking innovation, collaboration and growth to the forefront.